What if I told you that the most disciplined people on this planet don't rely on motivation at all? They don't wake up feeling inspired. They don't have some magic willpower that you were born without. In fact, most of them admit they feel lazy just as often as you do. The difference isn't in how they feel. It's in 7 small, almost invisible habits they repeat every single day. Habits so quiet, so unremarkable, that most people scroll right past them without a second thought. And that's exactly the problem. Because the people who stay stuck in procrastination, distraction, and self-doubt are usually doing the opposite of these 7 things without even realizing it. Today I'm going to break down all 7, one at a time. But pay close attention to habit number 7. It's the one that ties everything else together. And if you skip it, the other 6 will barely make a dent. Stick with me until the end, because by the time this video is over, you'll have a complete, practical system you can start using today. Let's get into it. Before we start, I want you to understand one thing. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's a skill, built the same way any skill is built, through small, repeated actions until they become automatic. The people who look naturally disciplined simply installed these 7 habits long before you ever met them. None of what I'm about to share requires hours of free time, a perfect schedule, or some dramatic life overhaul. Every single habit on this list takes less than 10 minutes. Some take less than 10 seconds. So no more excuses about not having time. Let's start with habit number 1. Habit number 1. The one-task rule. Here's what most people do when they sit down to work. They open 5 tabs, 3 apps, and a to-do list with 20 items on it. Their brain immediately panics because it doesn't know where to start. So it does the easiest thing possible. It avoids starting at all. Instead, it checks a notification, then another, and an hour disappears. Here's the shift. Before you begin any work session, you pick exactly 1 task, not 3, not whatever feels right. 1. You write it down on a sticky note or a blank page. Just the single task, nothing else visible. Your brain doesn't get overwhelmed by a single clear target. It gets overwhelmed by ambiguity. When there's only 1 door in front of you, walking through it stops feeling like a decision and starts feeling like the obvious next step. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself through chaos. It's about removing the chaos before it has a chance to stop you. 1 task, that's habit 1. Habit number 2, and this one is sneaky good, the 5-minute start. Most people wait to feel ready before they begin something hard. They wait for motivation, for the perfect mood, for the stars to align, and that moment almost never comes on its own. So instead of waiting, you trick your brain with a rule. Commit to just 5 minutes. Not the whole workout, not the whole essay, not the whole project, 5 minutes only. And if after 5 minutes you genuinely want to stop, you're allowed to. Here's why this works. The hardest part of any task isn't doing it, it's starting it. Your brain resists the unknown, but it doesn't resist 5 minutes. Because 5 minutes feels safe, small, reversible. Once you're in motion, though, something interesting happens. Momentum takes over. Physics calls it inertia. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Your brain works the exact same way. Roughly 9 times out of 10, once people start their 5 minutes, they keep going far past it. The 5-minute start isn't a trick to finish the task. It's a trick to defeat the starting resistance, because that resistance is the only real enemy discipline has to fight. That's habit 2. Habit number 3. And this one is about something almost nobody talks about: the visible progress tracker. Here's the problem with discipline. Most of your effort is invisible. You study for an hour, and there's no scoreboard, no confirmation, nothing to show for it except a vague feeling that you probably did something useful. Your brain craves proof. Without proof, it starts to doubt whether the effort even matters. And that doubt is exactly what makes people quit. So here's the fix. Get something physical, a wall calendar, a simple notebook, even a jar of coins. And every single day you complete your one task, you mark it. An X on the calendar, a coin in the jar, a line in the notebook. It sounds almost childish, but this is one of the most powerful psychological tools that exists. Once you have a streak of even 3 or 4 days, something shifts. You stop wanting to do the task because it's useful. You start wanting to do it because you don't want to break the chain. That single visual line becomes its own motivation, completely separate from whatever task it represents. Comedian and writer Jerry Seinfeld famously used this exact method to write jokes every single day for years. He called it, "Don't break the chain. One mark a day." That's habit 3. Habit number 4 is the one people underestimate the most, the environment reset. Willpower is not unlimited. It's more like a battery that drains throughout the day. And every single temptation you resist, every time you see your phone and choose not to pick it up, costs you a little bit of that battery. Which means if your phone is sitting right next to you while you work, you are burning discipline just resisting it before you've even started the actual task. Here's the fix, and it takes about 60 seconds. Before any focused work session, physically remove the friction. Phone in another room, not just face down on the desk. Browser tabs closed, not just minimized. Snacks out of reach if you're trying to eat healthier. The goal isn't to become someone with superhuman willpower. The goal is to design a space where the undisciplined choice simply isn't available in the first place. The most disciplined people you know aren't resisting temptation more than you. They've just engineered their environment so there's less temptation to resist. 60 seconds of setup, that's habit 4. Habit number 5 might be the simplest one on this entire list, and yet it changes everything about how your morning goes. The evening preview. Most people go to bed with no plan for tomorrow, which means the next morning. Their brain has to make dozens of small decisions before it even gets to the important work. What should I do first? What's actually urgent? Where did I even leave off? Every one of those tiny decisions drains energy you needed for the real task. The fix takes 2 minutes right before bed. You write down exactly one task, the single most important thing you'll do tomorrow. Not a list. One task. That's the same task you'll write on your sticky note from habit 1, except now you're deciding it the night before, when your brain is calm, instead of the morning of, when your brain is scrambling. When you wake up, there's no deciding left to do, there's only doing. Researchers studying decision fatigue have found that willpower and decision-making quality both decline the more choices a person has already made that day, which is exactly why judges famously hand down harsher rulings later in the day than earlier. Removing decisions removes friction. 2 minutes at night, that's habit 5. Habit number 6 is quiet, but it's the one that separates people who bounce back from setbacks and people who spiral after them, the identity check-in. Here's what happens to most people when they break their streak or miss a day. They think, I knew I couldn't stick to this. And that one slip becomes an excuse to quit entirely. One missed workout turns into a month off. One skipped study session turns into abandoning the class. The identity check-in interrupts that spiral. Once a day, you ask yourself one simple question. Did today's actions match the person I'm trying to become? Not was I perfect. Not did I do everything. Just, did my actions point in that direction, even a little? If the answer is yes, you let it reinforce your identity. If the answer is no, you don't spiral into shame, you simply note it and move to tomorrow. This isn't about tracking tasks anymore. Habit 3 already handles that. This is about tracking who you're becoming, separate from any single day's performance. People who identify as someone who is disciplined behave completely differently than people who are simply trying to be disciplined today. One is a permanent trait. The other resets to 0 every morning. That's habit 6. And now habit number 7, and the one I told you not to skip, the one that ties everything else on this list together. Habit 7, the non-negotiable anchor. Here's what it is. You pick exactly one action, and only one, that you do every single day no matter what. No matter how tired you are. No matter how busy the day gets. No matter how you feel. It doesn't have to be big. It could be 10 push-ups. It could be writing one sentence. It could be making your bed the moment you wake up. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is that it's completely non-negotiable. Here's why this changes everything. The other 6 habits we covered are flexible. They bend around your schedule, your energy, your mood. That flexibility is useful, but it also means on your worst days, all 6 of them can quietly slip. The non-negotiable anchor is different. It's the one thing that never slips, ever, regardless of circumstances. And because it never slips, it becomes proof, daily, undeniable proof, that you are someone who follows through. That proof is what habit 6, the identity check-in, actually feeds on. Without the anchor, your identity has nothing solid to stand on. With it, even on your absolute worst day, you still have one piece of evidence that you're the kind of person who does what they say they'll do. And that one piece of evidence is often enough to pull every other habit back into place the very next day. One action, every day, no exceptions. That's habit 7, and that's the one that changes everything. Let's bring it all together. Habit 1, the one-task rule, pick a single target so your brain has nowhere to hide. Habit 2, the 5-minute start, trick yourself into motion, and let momentum do the rest. Habit 3, the visible progress tracker, give your effort a physical scoreboard. Habit 4, the environment reset, remove temptation before it can drain your willpower. Habit 5, the evening preview, decide tomorrow's task tonight while your mind is calm. Habit 6, the identity check-in, track who you're becoming, not just what you did. And habit 7, the anchor that holds it all together. One non-negotiable action, every single day, no matter what. None of these habits require more willpower than you already have. They require less. That's the entire point. Each one is designed to make discipline easier, not harder. Pick just one to start with tomorrow, not all 7. 1. Build from there. If this helped you, subscribe for more videos exactly like this one, and let me know in the comments which habit you're starting with first. I'll see you in the next video.